I'm Vicky from Free From Limits, and I thought that it might be a bit of fun to have a question of the day over the next week. So I'm going to start with a question that comes up quite a lot when I'm having conversations with clients and with people in general. And it's something that I hadn't ever considered. I never even thought about. And so I am going to pose it to you today so that you can have a think about it. So the question is, how is it that people see things differently? So how is it that we all have a different experience of the same thing? So a great example of this would be the recent election in America. How is it that some people think Donald Trump is amazing and other people think he's just dreadful? How is that when he is Donald Trump? Like, he is a thing, but people have a different experience of him. How is that? So here's how I see it. And this has come about from an understanding that I was introduced to around about 2.5 years ago. And it comes about from the fact that we can never experience anything other than through our thoughts. So the only way that we experience the world is through our thinking. So just let that kind of sit with you for a moment. Does that look true to you? Because I don't want anybody to take my word for what I'm going to share over the next week. I really encourage you to have a look for yourself and see whether what I'm saying is true or not. So another example might be that you go to the cinema to watch a film with a friend and you love the film and your friend fell asleep. She thought it was really boring. So how can that be? If it were the film, we'd all have the same experience, right? If the film was the thing that gave us our experience, we would all experience the same film. But we don't. We all experience different films. I mean, we watch the same film, but we have a different experience of it. And the only way that can be is because we have different thoughts about it. So if you think that a film is boring, then you're going to have an experience of boredom. So that might mean falling asleep. If you think a film is extraordinarily fantastic, you might have an experience of your thinking would be that the film was extraordinarily ecstatically brilliant, and that thinking would then translate into your experience. So rather than falling asleep, you might be sitting on the edge of your seat and you might talk about it to all of your friends for the next week because you're so excited by it. So you see, it can't be the thing outside of us that creates our experience. It can only be what's going on in our mind that creates our experience. So I kind of just encourage you to get curious about that. Because when we start to see that things outside of us do not make us feel a certain way, that the only way we can experience is through our thoughts, then for me that changed everything. It made sense of the fact that even though my external experience was one of loveliness, i.e. I had a good job, I had a lovely family, I had my own home, I had enough food in the cupboards, I was never hungry, I was never thirsty. So that externally, my life looked fantastic. But internally, I was caught up in a whole load of extraneous thoughts and turmoil. And that created an experience for me of misery, I guess, of feeling disconnected, of feeling not enough. And so when I came across this understanding that I now share with people in my coaching, it made complete sense to me. I suddenly understood why I was feeling so unhappy. because up until that point, I had looked at my external circumstances and I couldn't understand why I would feel unhappy. I never understood the power or the part that thought had to play in my experience. And we'll talk a little bit more about thought over the course of this week with some other questions for you to think about. But I'm going to leave it there for today. So today's question, how do we experience life differently, is just one I'm going to leave with you to ponder over the course of today, and to have a look and see for yourself whether it's true that our experience cannot be from outside of us, that it can only be through our thinking, through our processing of what's going on outside of us. I'm going to leave it there and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.